Hi everyone, I'm Brian Barrish from USAFL.com. We're in Lakewood Ranch, Florida for the 2023 USAFL National Championships. There's going to be more than 1,000 athletes from 43 teams looking for a championship, that little bit of medal and that honor. And the gentleman to my left really doesn't need much of an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He just won one of those premierships with the Collingwood Football Club, a man from Texas who's done pretty much everything you can do. Premiership, it feels really good to say that, premiership champion, Mason Cox. Mason, we're 2 weeks on from the grand final. How do you feel?
I feel like my body's been run into a wall. Not only from the game, but the after festivities, as we may say. But no, it's good. It's good to be back. It's good to be back here at the USAFL promoting AFL over here in the States, and I'm excited to see everyone out.
Have you come down yet, or are you still kind of like buzzing a little bit?
It's definitely still buzzing. I haven't really probably had too much time to soak it in yet. I've been pretty crazy, bang, 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 from one thing to another. But yeah, you kind of have little moments where you think about the game, you think about experiences over the last couple of weeks, and it puts a smile on your face.
Let's talk about the grand final. You've now played, I meant to look this up and I didn't. You've played in front of 90,000 plus people, kind of like it's old hat. But talk about like going into a grand final, like what's your mindset? What are you feeling like as you throughout the week and then leading up to that first bounce?
It's a stressful week. A lot of people come out of the woodworks asking for tickets, that's for sure. You weren't one of them, actually. I was surprised. A lot of people come out of the woodworks, and then there's the parade that comes with it. So there's a few kind of extracurricular things that usually are not part of a normal game day week. But yeah, you try to keep it as normal as possible, try to get your routine the same. There is a little bit more nerves, obviously, with it. I can think, back to the morning of the game, you're kind of just ready to play, and you're thinking in 5-6 hours time, either I'm going to have a really big smile on my face and be quite depressed. So it's very extremes on the day, but I think you try to keep it as normal as possible, and then you've got the big concert beforehand, then you got the different kind of prep as far as that before. But this year with McCrae had a beautiful kid early in the morning, and that kind of took your mind away from it, and was awesome to add one to the Magpie family.
I'll ask about Fly in just a minute. At what point during the game does everything kind of fade away and it's just you in the arena, or does it stay with you the entire game?
No, it's from the first bounce. To be honest, people talk about playing in front of big crowds and things like that, and you do hear the big crowds, and it's awesome because you've got a massive following and stuff. But I think sometimes whenever you play, you're just so in the moment of the next thing that needs to happen, and the next play, whatever it might be, and the next thing you need to do in the game, that you don't probably look outside of the boundary too much, and it's so methodical in the way you kind of want to be able to perform. So it's after a big goal, you got a bit of time, and you got the big crowd roar, or someone's chased down a tackle, or Bob Hill snapped one from the corner, wherever it is. Those are the times I think you really kind of recognize that you're in a massive game with a huge crowd there.
What was it like? I mean, your parents have been over for a bunch, your brothers have been over for a bunch. What was it like having all of them there? And I know you've had a number of other friends and everybody who's been supporting you the entire time, but what was it like when it went off and it was just celebration with them?
Yeah, it was a bit crazy. Like, you get the medal up on the stand, and then you go and do the lap of honor kind of thing with the cup. And my brother I spotted my brother out. He had an American flag, which I took off him and took the photos and stuff on the day from him. And I actually snuck him over the fence. So I said, look, if there's a day we can get away with this, I think today's the day. So he jumped over, we took a few photos and stuff together, which was awesome. And then saw them in the rooms after, which has been incredible. Like, they were there in 2018, and pretty much any time we've made a prelim or beyond that. So it's it's incredible to be able to have the family there and big moments in your life like that and be able to celebrate together.
There's a really good photo of you sitting in the middle of in an empty MCG, just you and the American flag. What to an extent, what were you thinking about? You just kind of soaking it all in? And
yeah, well, it happens like this. Like, it really, you think about, like, you have this whole idea, and this is kind of like the pinnacle of what you've trying to accomplish for a long time. And then, you get the medal, you do the lap of honor, and then bang, you're out of there probably an hour after the game finishes. And there's all these massive memories in your life that kind of fit in this very small time frame. So I just took a moment to kind of just separate from the rest of the group that was all kind of celebrating together, and just kind of sit on my own and really soak it in. Like, I've always loved an empty MCG. Like, I love it rocking more than anything, obviously, but I still think an empty MCG's got some amazing spirit to it. So I just kind of sat back, just really kind of soaked it all in, thought about the whole journey really from start to finish, and I'd always kind of dreamt about being able to accomplish that on the day, and then to finally I guess reach that life goal and take that time to really soak it in was pretty special.
You had a lot of people on this side of the Pacific barracking for you to do that. You mentioned Craig McCrae. A lot has really been said about how much you've transformed as a player. Well, what's it like playing under Craig McCrae, and perhaps what's it been like playing for him as opposed to coaches that you had when you played sports here in the States, say?
The Australian culture around sport is different to the US. US is a lot more ruthless. I'll go have a beer with a coach. I would never do that in American sports, where in Australia it's one big happy family kind of thing. So yeah, Craig's been massive for me. I've had that relationship with him for a long time. So whenever he became coach, there's very few people probably at that time I really wanted to play for, and he was probably one of the only ones I would go back to the club for. So whenever he became, I guess, head coach, it was kind of an incredible opportunity for me to kind of rejoin with him and be able to have him as a coach again and be able to share those experiences. So he's always been a bit of a father figure and someone that's always kind of had my back, and had a ton of, always kind of looked at me as someone who has a ton of capability. So to have that faith from a coach is massive for a career, and I think you've kind of seen, I guess, how that's kind of transformed my ability to play over the last 2 years.
And I imagine, when you go through, because I know at the end of the home and away season, regular season, it was a little bit of a slump for you guys. Obviously, you pulled out of. What was he like? What was the leadership like with Darcy and Pendles? What was the attitude? What were their statements? Just kind of keep moving forward through this, and we'll get out of this, at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think we just stick to process more than anything. We backed in our gameplay and the way we, moved the ball and everything else, and the different styles of play we had for different circumstances. So, yeah, we had a little patch in there that wasn't the greatest, but we got back to the basics, got that kind of correct, and started going back to doing handballs and kicking and making sure that the skills were correct. Therefore, you could actually execute the things that came from that. So we just kind of got back to that and really honed in on our craft, and then we're able to kind of start performing again, and was able to kind of have momentum at the right time of year.
How have the fans been, especially the last couple, not just the Collingwood fans, because I know the Collingwood fans are incredibly passionate. I know many of them are behind you, but have you gotten some of that love from some of the fans in the other teams who are like, this guy is a really good story and we're happy for him? Have you heard much of that?
Yeah, I've kind of got a weird, I guess, supporter base from my story. At times, a lot of people just hate me because I'm American, don't get me wrong, but I think there's a lot of people that say, look, I am born and bred to hate Collingwood. My whole life, I refuse to wear anything black and white. But the story of you and where you've come from and what you've been able to achieve is something that I barrack or root for you, whoever it is, and hate the rest of the team and hope they lose every single game, but hope you play well, kind of thing. So it's a unique kind of, I guess, situation where it's an incredible story, an incredible journey. I think that kind of attracts people, the rags to riches kind of experience. That really brings any kind of fan along, and that's kind of the beauty of sport.
I know as well, you've recently become an Australian citizen. Congratulations. And talk about living over there, not only just living over there, but just getting, because I know you travel pretty extensively around the country. What are some of your favorite places from a tourist standpoint, not necessarily from a football standpoint, but where do you like to go in
Australia?
Yeah.
There's a lot of places I love. I'm about to go to Uluru, which is a pretty amazing place. Go to see Abby Holmes get married to Keegan. It's an amazing, beautiful couple. That'll be awesome. Sunset there is quite special. Up in Coral Bay, Exmouth. I went to Groote Island, went fishing up there, which was incredible.
Nice.
Tiwi Islands was amazing too. Tasmania, another beautiful place. Just have to be there during the summer. It's pretty cold during the winter. And then Hamilton Island, Whitsundays, Cairns, some of these places. The Great Barrier Reef is obviously an iconic place to Australia. That's incredible to go and see kind of the nature side of things. But the cities of Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane, Gold Coast, all those kind of major cities all have a bit of a uniqueness to them, and a bit of a attractive pull to people. I think Gold Coast is a city literally on a beach that everyone surfs. So it's the iconic Australia, I guess. But there's not as much probably business going on there as a Sydney or Melbourne. So everything's got its own little unique characteristics to it. But overall, it's a beautiful, amazing place. It's just it's a bit isolated from everyone else.
Now we're back here at the USAFL Nationals. You're here sixth time, I think, 5, 6, something like that.
Oh, something like that, yeah.
So
out there.
Obviously you're here to, well, among other reasons, you're here to cheer on your brothers. But tell me some of the highlights for you during the course of these weekends.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great to see how big footy is getting in America. it's incredible, I think, over these last 9 years I've been playing AFL, and to see people kind of come back and return every single year and support their teams, and I guess the camaraderie that comes with the USAFL. This is one weekend where the whole league throughout the whole North America all comes together, and there's a massive kind of get together of family almost, it feels like, and everyone has a smile on the first day, and throughout the weekend just chatting to people and catching up that they don't probably see too often throughout the year. So it's like a massive reunion for people that love AFL over here, and that's I think that's one of the coolest things is, it's such a unique sport that's mainly only played in Australia, but there's some pretty passionate Australians and Americans and people from all over the world that come out here and play in their regional tournaments and their local teams and all that kind of stuff, and then get to all come together at this beautiful place, for the USAFL Nationals.
Do you get the same incredulity that I get from Aussies when they find out that there's actually a league here and whatnot? Do they?
It's cool, because then they're, oh wait, is there like a team in my town? I'm like, there's almost 100% chance there'll be a team there. And it's cool also. I mean, like, my brothers both play, and I've kind of been accepted into their teams somewhat quasi. I haven't played for any of their teams really, but you kind of get that feeling of mateship and stuff like that comes with it. And now I look to a lot of people I've met that have gotten into teams here in the US, and a lot of their best friends and stuff now, and the people that hang out with the most are actually from their teams. So it's this amazing kind of society thing that brings people together, and it's incredible to I guess create a bit of a community within your own town to be able to have that support and family feel.
And last question, what are your plans for this weekend? Are we going to see Waterboy Mason Cox out there?
I've had shoulder surgery
yeah.
recently, so I'm going to probably take it easy for a bit.
That's a good call. I forgot about that.
I will probably do some kind of water. I've been asked by about 4 different teams already, I think, to run waters. I will at some point run water this weekend, probably tomorrow, depending who allows me to, but I think someone had me as a runner for try to give some some hints and details as to how you should play and stuff. I said, look, that's beyond my stuff, but the water I can do. I'm happy to do that, so I think I'll probably make some kind of an appearance over the weekend.
I mean, you're a grand final winner. You've done something right?
Yeah,
they could pick your brain on.
It's my most coveted thing that happens every single year is becoming the water boy for the USAFL. So
premiership water boy.
That's it. Yeah, you kind of get brought back to reality really quickly.
Well, man, listen, you're a part of our family. It's great to see you. Congratulations, not only obviously on this premiership, but on your career so far. And thank you so much for everything you do for American footy and footy in general. Because I can speak, I know, for so many other people that your story. I mean, it's hard not to get behind you and your story. And nothing but the best going forward, mate. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Oh, thanks, Brian. I appreciate it as always.
No worries, mate.